We made it, people. It's the last day of Top 10 week. Granted, it's technically next week, but who's counting at this point? And today, I am doing the creme de la creme, the big one, the top list to top all the other lists. Sort of. I am doing my top 10 movies of 2015. This was the best that you could go see in the theater, according to me. And we all know I am the only opinion I take seriously. Now, first up, let's explain things. As always, the film had to have came out in theaters on the big screen between January 1st and December 31st, and I had to have seen it. So obviously things like The Revenant can't be on here, or whatever big movies everyone else is talking about. Actually, it seems to just be The Revenant. But the thing is that, for those of you who don't know, this year for me was very challenging. Like I said in the worst movies, I moved. I had several other big things going on in my life. So even though I was still able to go to the movies regularly, I didn't get the reviews out. And I admit, I did watch a couple screeners from a friend of mine who's in SAG. But nevertheless, some of these might count as little tiny 10-second reviews, but come on, by this point, you guys know what I like, and this is just a list to say what I really liked this year. It is very biased. Some of these movies you might not agree with are the best of the best, but that's what the comments section's for. Without further ado, let's get started. I swear to God, if I hear one more person say, "Oh, I wonder what this movie would have been like directed by Edgar Wright," I am going to throw something, because you know what? AntMan, directed by Peyton Reed, is an awesome movie and one of my favorites this year. First up, reason one, it takes the concept of shrinking someone down and having all the shenanigans with that and does something different with it. The action scenes are beautiful and inventive, and I can't say I've ever seen any quite like them before. The setups are amazing. The characters are amazing. What's really great about them is, like I've said several times, this is really the first superhero movie about a father and his journey. I don't like Hank Pym as a character, so making Scott Lang interesting to me is an amazing accomplishment. I'm now reading the Ant-Man title because of this movie. I've fallen in love with these characters, and it's such a lovable movie. Michael Pena is hilarious. Evangeline Lilly's great. Yellow Jacket, I really thought he was threatening. And the thing is, the movie actually, because Edgar Wright left, it works to the film's advantage. You have Edgar Wright's weird, crazy writing with Peyton Reed's apparently great directing skills, and I can't wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp. It'll be amazing, and it's because you had this crazy setup that everyone is now shitting on. I'm gonna be straight up honest, I was not looking forward to Creed. I thought Rocky Balboa gave the perfect ending to the Rocky franchise. But after seeing Creed, I now know where this franchise could go, and it's because they do this interesting, beautiful new direction. And a lot of people are saying this is very much a repeat of the first Rocky. But where this film succeeds that, in my opinion, Star Wars The Force Awakens didn't, is that not only is it is the same story, but what they add to it and what they bring to it, it knows it's a similar story, but it finds the beauty in that and the simplicity in it and the perfection of it. It knows what to add and what to change and what to make different, and combines it with amazing stellar performances. Sylvester Stallone, everyone's saying he deserves an Oscar nod, and yes, he does. He's perfect in this movie as Rocky, and Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed is perfect. They have this beautiful bond they create. It's not just trainer and student this time. There's a father-son element to it that I thought was played up perfectly. Plus, the fight scenes in this movie are insane. The guy who directed, his name escapes me. He's the guy who directed Football Station with Michael B. Jordan last year. He did an amazing job. I can't wait to see what he does next, and I can't wait for Creed 2 because I want to see what happens next. For the first time in my life, I can say I'm ready for the next installment of the Rocky universe. I know this sounds like a really weird thing to come after Rocky, but I can't help it. I loved Peanuts. I loved the Peanut shorts when I was a child, and this movie made me feel like a kid, and I really think it's because of the beauty in its simplicity. Look at this movie. It looks like the upgraded new version of those cartoons. It's not just the same sort of Blue Sky, Ice Age type animation. There's no pop culture references or product placement. Hell, there's barely even a plot to this movie. It really is just following Charlie Brown through a couple months or so of his life, and I really love it for that. You don't see that a lot in movies, and with so many kids' movies that just rehash the same stupid ideas over and over again, to really see a film be different and go for something new, it's just amazing, and it gave me such a great feeling after watching it. I felt completely like a 6-year-old while watching this. Hell, I was in a theater surrounded by 6-year-olds. No one talked. No one cared about anything else. They were just wanting to watch Charlie Brown and watching his life as it unfolded day to day, and to see that go over so well. Hell, if you can keep a kid quiet in the theater, that's beautiful in and of itself. I saw Star Wars, I saw Avengers, AntMan, all these movies. Kids didn't shut up, but they stayed quiet for this. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes this movie amazing in and of itself. So a lot of people are saying that this movie feels too biopic-y, that it's just rehashing events we all know and didn't need a movie of yet. I respectfully disagree. I think Concussion really is a great film, and a great film to watch if you're a sports fan, because this movie really does put the whole issue of football and what it means to our culture and how it damages the players and all of this stuff, puts it in the forefront. First up, led up by a great performance by Will Smith. It's my favorite performance of the year. Give him the Oscar now. He's so amazing in it. But the thing is, what really makes this movie great is that it is tackling this subject. Football is so much part of our culture, and I'll be straight up honest, I don't get it. I don't like sports. But you see this movie, and it's talking about something. And again, yeah, you could make the argument, oh, it's talking about recent events, maybe a little too much and too in-depth. But that's what I liked about it. It really does feel like a movie you could watch 10 years from now and get the full scope of what this issue is. And I got that feeling watching this movie. I love how it tackled the issue. I love how it directly said what football is doing. You see so many people pussyfoot through it, and here comes this movie that just throws it out there and says what the problem is. It doesn't try to force any ideologies down. I thought just saying, these are the facts, this is what happened, and this is how it all went. That's what a true story is supposed to do, and if you've got a problem with it doing that, then I'm sorry, maybe you just have a problem with true stories. Again, maybe the movie came out too soon, but for me, I am glad I saw it, and it really did teach me about this subject matter that, again, I don't really care about because I don't like sports, but whatever. Steven Spielberg, the greatest director of all time. Tom Hanks, one of the greatest actors of all time. Do I even need to say anything else? Well, I'll say this much else. This is one of Spielberg's best movies. It's one of the best Cold War movies ever. This is a truly amazing film. It's brought together by Tom Hanks' amazing Oscar-worthy performance, and why do I need to say anything else? Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks. If you care about movies, you probably saw this already, or if you haven't, go watch it now. Hurry up. Go. Go. Castaway in space. The Martian is awesome. Why? Because you kind of almost feel like it's really happening. The attention to detail in this movie alone makes it amazing. There's so much. There's math in this. I love the math scenes in this movie. There's him just talking to a camera, talking about the insanity of what's going on to him. I love those scenes. There is all your space adventure and going to save him, but that's such a little part of this movie in comparison to everything else, and it is anchored by Matt Damon and another Oscar-worthy performance on this list, but that's why it works. The attention to detail in this movie is perfect as far as I'm concerned. You feel like it can all really happen. Maybe it can, I don't know that much about Mars, but it brings it all together and it feels real. If we've got anyone who we've got to save from Mars, it might as well be the guy who feels like we've got to save in every movie he does. So, ironically, the best thing about seeing 50 Shades of Grey was that it made me feel so shitty about myself for paying money to this piece of garbage that I actually then went and bought a ticket to see Kingsman. Money wise spent, because after seeing a truly awful movie, you need the insane, over-the-top, crazy action that only Matthew Vaughn can deliver. And Kingsman is perfect for that. It's insane. It's over the top. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. It knows that, but it knows how to make that badass and awesome. Combine that with a truly fun, crazy plot that you can't help but love, not to mention the performances across the board. Colin Firth, Michael Caine, Samuel L. Jackson, I forget the main character's name, but who cares? He's amazing too. Kingsman is one of the best, awesome movies of the year, and I am so glad they're making Kingsman 2. Just bring that sequel right now. I want it. now. Everyone has decided Avengers Age of Ultron is disappointing. Except me. I love this movie. It is so awesome. It's because of the great characters with the great actors, some of the best action we've ever seen in comic book movies to date, and it all comes together in a cool, exciting plot with a cool, exciting villain. Everyone's like, it makes no sense, the story doesn't work. As far as I'm concerned, it totally does, because you are following these heroes on this epic adventure with some of the greatest action scenes we've seen in a comic book movie. Everyone else has turned against this film, but I'm here for you, Avengers Age of Ultron. I will always be here for you. Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest. Number 2 and number 1, for the first time in my YouTube movie reviewing career, are completely interchangeable on this list. It's really based on the mood I'm in right now. If you ask me again in a week what my favorite movie of 2015 was, it might be this one, but for right now, Inside Out is number 2. But regardless, it is maybe Pixar's best movie. It's definitely one of Disney's best movies in a long, long time. And that really is because of this creative, abstract, over-the-top idea that it's been done before, but never like this. And for a child's movie to do it, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's funny. It's heartfelt. I thought I was gonna cry in this movie because it understands emotion. It gets how kids actually are and delivers on that. I fell in love with every character in this movie. I would love to see where this film can go into the future. It's just so perfect. It's animated visually. It's voice acted beautifully. Everything about it is great. If you haven't seen it already, who am I kidding? You know you probably have. So some backstory. Like with Whiplash last year, I was not looking forward to this movie because I really didn't even know it existed till I saw it. But I was in the city with some friends and we wanted to go see a movie, and we just saw Spotlight was there. We saw Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton. We figured, let's give it a shot. And like Whiplash, I found another movie to add to my favorites of all time list. This, to me, really is just, oh my god, just the amazingness of this movie. First up, I love movies about journalism. I love films that show what investigative journalism does. And I love a movie that shows how important it is and how we need it and how all this Kim Kardashian did this week is pointless and really ruining the media. This is a movie that tackles, like Concussion, a very hard subject matter. Going after the Catholic Church, showing what happened and showing the people who did it and not putting in any form of a religious bias, but showing what has to be done to find the truth. I love that in movies, and I thought this film did it perfectly. And what it did that not even a lot of movies that do this subject matter well did was you cared about every phone call. You cared about every little thing the plot had to offer. It showed you everything. And this is something I remember, okay, obviously I was a very young child, but I remember seeing a lot of it on the news and being very confused and not really getting what was going on for obvious reasons. Obviously I was very young. This movie shows I don't even begin to understand the confusion of the situation. You're in with these people and you care about everything going on. And this happened. That's the craziest part about it. This crazy journalism sleuthing movie happened. This shows how insane our society can be and how we need people to show the truth. I'm not saying Inside Out. Inside Out is definitely the more creative movie and has a lot more interesting ideas with it. But what puts this movie ahead of it for me is that it's showing what truth is and how far you have to go for it and how right it is and what it means to stand up for something and trying to do what is right and taking hold of journalism and showing the power it has and really putting that into effect into the world. And that, to me, makes a movie perfect. To show everything, to make every little element of it that perfect is what I love about movies. To make you care about these little things that aren't relevant to your life or you didn't think would interest you in the world. When this year started, I never thought Spotlight would be my favorite of the movie year. Again, because I didn't know it existed, but that's beyond the point. I think this is an amazing, perfect movie. Everyone give them Oscar nods. I know I've said that a lot in this video, but it's true, because these were the movies I loved this year. I thought this was a great year in movies. Yeah, things like your Jurassic World made more money than they should have. Yeah, I wasn't as into Star Wars as everyone else is, but It was a great year in film, and I wouldn't take any of my experiences this year in the cinema back. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on the movies of 2015 that you liked and you loved. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe so we can get right into all the goodness that will be 2016.